Good morning, Marshall community. Welcome to this beautiful Monday. We are continuing our read aloud, exploring figurative language with Peter Pan. If you remember on Friday, Wendy had gotten knocked out and the Lost Boys were building her a house. And they were asking her how she wanted it, and she was telling them in her sleep. To this she answered greedily, "Oh, really, next I think I'll have windows all about, with roses peeping in, you know, and babies peeping out." With a blow of their fists they made the windows, and large yellow leaves were the blinds. But roses... "Roses!" cried Peter sternly. Quickly they made believe to grow the loveliest roses up the walls. Babies? To prevent Peter ordering babies, they hurried into song again. We've made the roses peeping out, the babes are at the door. We cannot make ourselves, you know, 'cause we've been made before. Peter, seeing this to be a good idea, at once pretended that it was his own. So what is the idea that he's talking about? The house was quite beautiful, and no doubt Wendy was very cozy within, though of course they could no longer see her. Peter strode up and down, ordering finishing touches. Nothing escaped his eagle eyes. Eagle eyes. So, what kind of eyes are these? Just when it seemed absolutely finished. "There's no knocker on the door," he said. They were very ashamed, but Toodles gave the sole of his shoe, and it made an excellent knocker. Absolutely finished now, they thought. Not a bit of it. "There's no chimney," Peter said. "We must have a chimney." "It certainly does need a chimney," said John importantly. This gave Peter an idea. He snatched the hat off John's head, knocked out the bottom, and put the hat on the roof. How do you think John feels? The little house was so pleased to have such a capital chimney that, as if to say thank you, smoke immediately began coming out of the hat. Now, really and truly, it was finished. Nothing remained but to knock. "Oh, look your best," Peter warned them. First impressions are awfully important. He was glad no one asked him what first impressions are. They were all too busy looking their best. He knocked politely. And now the wood was as still as the children. Not a sound to be heard except from Tinker Bell, who was watching from a branch and openly sneering. What does sneering mean? Is Tinker Bell happy about this? What the boys were wondering was, would anyone answer the knock? If a lady, what would she be like? The door opened and a lady came out. It was Wendy. They all whipped off their hats. She looked properly surprised, and this was just how they had hoped she would look. "Where am I?" she said. Of course Lightly was the first to get his word in. "Wendy lady," he said rapidly, "for you we built this house." "Oh, say you're pleased," cried Nibs. "Lovely, darling house," Wendy said. They were the very words they had hoped she would say. Isn't it lovely? "And we are your children," cried the twins. They all went on their knees, holding out their arms, and cried, "Oh, Wendy lady, please be our mother, please." "Ought I?" Wendy said, all shining. "Of course, it's frightfully fascinating, but you see, I am only a little girl, and I have no real experience." "It doesn't matter," said Peter, as if he were the only person present who knew all about it, though he was really the one who knew the least. Remember, that's irony we talked about. What is irony? How is that ironic? "What we need is just a nice motherly person." "Oh dear," Wendy said. "You see, I feel that is exactly what I am. It is, they all cried. We see it at once. Very well, she said, I will do my best. Come inside at once, you naughty children. I am sure your feet are damp. And before I put you to bed, I have just time to finish the story of Cinderella. In that they went, and I don't know how there was room for them, but you can squeeze very tight in Neverland. This was the first of many joyous evenings that they had with Wendy. By and by she tucked them up in the great bed in the home under the trees. But she herself slept that night in the little house, and Peter kept watch outside with drawn sword, for the pirates could be heard carousing far away, and the wolves were on the prowl. The little house looked so cozy and safe in the darkness, with a bright light showing through its blinds and the chimney smoking beautifully, and Peter standing on guard. After a time he fell asleep, and some unsteady fairies had to climb over him on their way home. Any of the other boys obstructing the fairy path that night would have mischiefed, but they just tweaked Peter's nose and passed on. And that concludes chapter 6. All right. So I want you to go back and I want you to explore the example of irony that I spoke about. Remember, irony is how things are the opposite of what you expect. So how is what Peter said about knowing what a mother is like, how is that ironic? Then I want you to go back through and I want you to find 2 more examples of figurative language and summarize how the story ends and tell me what you think is going to happen next. All right, I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you in the morning. Goodbye.